In today's video, I'll be starting the nothing to something trading challenge, where I take an item with very little, and eventually trade up into something big by the end of the series, and I'll be breaking down each trade I make throughout the series, making sure to elaborate as to why I took certain trades, as well as how I got them and my strategies for making profit, which should hopefully provide you guys with a lot of insight as to how to become a better trader. But all that aside, we'll be starting the series with a measly 450 Robux. This is the amount of Robux you get from purchasing the smallest tier of premium, and with the 450 Robux, I decided to purchase the sugar shades for 114 Robux as my starting item, bringing my total Robux down to 336. But with that out of the way, I was now on my way to begin trading. And I'd begin my journey by logging into Roblox Trade, as I'll be using Roblox Trade to keep track of my value throughout the series. I'd also go ahead and post a trade advertisement, something I'll be consistently doing throughout the series to get extra inbound offers on my items. But once I did all that, I'd hop into Trade Hangout to begin finding people to trade with. And I would begin offering people my sugar shades plus Robux through items. And after about 15 minutes, I would stumble upon this guy while server hopping, and I ended up completing my first trade, consisting of my sugar shades plus 20 Robux for this guy's Despacito egg and his egg of hidden treasures. And as you can see by the trade, I leveraged my Robux here in order to get a pretty good win. As with small traders, Robux is a really good negotiation tool to balance out small trades or to get someone to overpay. And you'll see me use this trick a lot throughout the video to secure trades. But in this trade, I made about 61 Robux in profit, and something I'd like to note here as well is that I would have been willing to go higher than just 20 Robux, but he accepted the 20 Robux offer, so there was no need to offer more on my part. You'll see me do this a few times throughout the series, but I always start with a very low offer and then build my way up from there, as this is a very important negotiation skill. I'd receive my next trade whilst in the middle of a deal with someone is when I tabbed out and refreshed my inbound offers. I happened to see my egg of treasures for the Cachondia mask. I more than likely got this trade from someone who saw my advertisements on Roblox Trade, as I didn't talk with this person in game, and I received the trade somewhat randomly, but either way I decided to accept the trade since it was a 1v1 and I was winning by a small margin. My next trade would end up being my Cachon mask and my Despacito egg plus 70 Robux for this guy's orange peel fedora. Once again, you can see me utilizing Robux to get a decent overpay off a trade here, which I had to negotiate with this guy a lot as he kept flip-flopping on his offers, initially offering that I add 50 Robux, only to then quit the game after I sent him the trade, which led me to reach out to him via private messages, leading to a bit of a back and forth until eventually he would end up countering me, leading to me accepting his offer where I was adding 70 Robux. This is a 52 Robux win on my part, and a pretty good upgrade as well. And not long after this, I would trade off the orange peel fedora for the Hanukkah beanie and the cake topper, making a 31 Robux profit. I had initially aimed for higher off the orange peel fedora, as I had initially tried getting the guy to give me around 430 for it, with me adding some Robux on top of that, but in the end he ended up countering me with just the Hanukkah beanie and the cake topper, and considering I was making a decent profit and I wasn't going to downgrade on that much, I just decided to go ahead and take it and to not get overly greedy, as sometimes trying too hard to get a huge overpay off your item can actually set you back a few completed trades, making you lose profit in the long run. So it's best to take a decent win like this when you can get it, instead of trying to shoot for much higher. And clearly this paid off, as in the next trade I completed, I ended up doing my Hanukkah beanie and cake topper plus 53 Robux for this guy's Builderman egg, Party Unicorn, and cake topper, making over 200 plus Robux off this trade, which weirdly, all I did was send this guy and tell him I sent. I had planned on negotiating with him to bring the trade down, using the strategy I talked about earlier where I offer my worst trade first, but he had ignored me, so I walked off, only for him to randomly accept my trade a few minutes later. I'll let my shocked reaction speak for itself. Whoa, wait, he actually took that? Are you serious? What? After that trade, I had made it above 500 value, having a value of 620 by this point, but I began running low on Robux, as I only had 193 Robux after completing all the previous trades. But with this next trade, I ended up using almost all my Robux I had left, but I once again got extremely lucky, completing my Builderman egg, cake topper, and Party Unicorn floaty, plus 150 Robux, for this guy's Business Cat, Outrageous Builders Club hat, Frosting Flyers, and Party Fedora, making nearly 400 Robux profit off this trade. If you've been following along so far, I'm sure you can see just how much leveraging Robux and working up from a horrible offer to a better offer does wonders when trading, as by doing just this, I managed to achieve over 1k value in a pretty short time frame. After this though, I would send out a new trade advertisement in Roblox Trade, consisting of all the new items I got. And it wasn't long before I'd trade one of these items, switching my profit strategy from using Robux to downgrading and upgrading, as I ended up trading my Business Cat for 2 Party Fedoras and a Gucci Marmont bag. I'd initially tried sending him my Business Cat for 730, but he had declined my trade, telling me it was overpaying too much, So in order to persuade him, I offered to remove one of the items and told him that he was upgrading, so he had to give higher, which he ended up agreeing to my new offer, making me close to 200 Robux in profit. And I thought I'd note here with the persuasion part, you're allowed to tell people somewhat vague true statements to persuade them to accept your trade, just as long as you don't outright lie to them, otherwise this would constitute sharking. My next trade though, would be the first trade I was approached for first, with the guy offering to downgrade my Builders Club hat, which instead I offered him to downgrade my Gucci Marmont bag, which he ended up accepting to, as he would end up giving me his elf hat, inkwell egg, and zombie slayer egg for my Gucci Marmont bag. I would have to negotiate with him a bit though, bringing his offer down in the process. I would also mistakenly send and then cancel a few of my outbounds, which dragged the trade on a little longer, but in the end, I still had a decent trade and came away with around 70 Robux in profit. But the time it took me to get the previous trade was nothing compared to this next trade, as the person I was trading with would stall me out for so long, making me wait close to 10 minutes just sitting around waiting for them to accept the trade. But I'll make yet another 70 Robux profit off this trade by downgrading my party fedora for 2 hidden treasure eggs and an egg munition. I did have to negotiate with them a bit though, bringing their trade down from me adding 55 Robux down to 10 Robux, so I guess I would say that the wait was somewhat worth it considering I made a decent profit off the trade. In continuing my strategy of downgrading my stuff for profit, I traded off my Builders Club hat for this person's unicorn floaty, party fedora, and 2 Despacito eggs, making a little over 100 Robux profit off this trade. They were initially hesitant about the trade, but in order to persuade them to take it, I'd offered to add 10 Robux which they declined, but I had also told them that the outrageous Builders Club had a good demand to it, as compared to most other smalls in the 400 range. The outrageous sells a lot higher just due to the nostalgia factor. This ended up being enough to convince them though, as they decided to take the trade after that. The next person I'd trade with, I'd spotted in Trade Hangout and noticing a lot of their inventory consisted of eggs. I assumed they weren't an active trader, so in order to confirm this, I checked their profile on Roblox Trade, and when I checked their inventory I noticed the majority of their items were obtained months ago, so assuming they weren't a very active nor smart trader, I decided to offer a small overpay for their 8-bit extra life, in which I'd end up completing my party fedora, Despacito egg, elf hat, and hidden treasures egg, plus 1 Robux for their 8-bit extra life, which this is probably my best item thus far, as this item has a lot of demand to it due to it having a particle effect on it, displaying a yellow sparkle above your head in game. And I'd leverage this fact in my next trade, in my next trade I'd end up completing my 8-bit extra life and my unicorn floaty for this guy's shark cat and pizza bandit, making close to 200 Robux profit off this trade. I initially tried aiming to do just my 8-bit extra life, but the guy didn't want to overpay that much, so eventually after a bit of convincing, with me explaining how my item was good demand, we eventually agreed that I'd add the unicorn floaty to the trade. This honestly was an especially good trade, as the 8-bit life and shark cat were basically close to equal in value, so it was pretty much a 1v1 between my unicorn floaty and this guy's pizza bandit, which on its own is a 230 Robux profit. And ironically, in the next trade I'd end up completing, I would end up trading my pizza bandit for this guy's frosting flyers, fried chicken egg, futuristic egg, and chocolate egg, making around 160 Robux profit off this trade. This is another trade where I yet again just sent the trade, got ignored, and then walked off for a little while, only for them to accept the trade later, so not much in terms of dialogue yet again. With my final trade though, I ended up getting extremely lucky, as I would complete 3 trades with this person. The first one being my party fedora, 2 frosting flyers, and my egg munition for this guy's boxing gloves. The trade was a very small overpay on my part, but was a really good upgrade as it was a 4v1. I would then send him another trade, in which I do my futuristic egg, inkwell egg, and hidden treasures egg for his Forever 21 Bejeweled. This is also a small overpay on my part, but a decent upgrade, as it was a 3v1 here. And after completing both these trades, he'd seemed to take an interest in my shark cat, so I negotiated with him a bit, and got him to give me 600 Robux for my shark cat, making me a little over 100 Robux profit. And with that, I made it to above 2k value, with our inventory consisting of some pretty decent items. So that being said, I think this is where I'll wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe and join the Discord in the description. I'll have the next episode in the series as well as the playlist of the full series on screen, so if you're interested, you can check it out there. But yeah, peace.